So, I've got something super spooky for you guys today, and I'm literally getting chills just thinking about it.
Oh my God, yes. And this one's really special because, it's actually not that far from where I used to live.
Really? That's actually kind of creepy. But yeah, welcome everyone to another episode in our scary podcast series. Today's story is about the haunting of Cedar Hill. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Valentine, and we're about to dive into this absolutely terrifying story about this old building in Texas that's just, well, let's just say it's got some seriously dark history.
Oh god, I already know I'm gonna have trouble sleeping tonight.
Trust me, you're not going to be the only one. This place, it's like, imagine this huge, imposing structure just sitting there in the middle of modern buildings, and it's got these stories that'll make your skin crawl.
Maybe we should warn our listeners that this one's particularly dark.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely need to mention that. This episode deals with some pretty heavy stuff, so just, keep that in mind. So this building, right, it's actually been around since the early 1900s. And it started out as this massive factory, and the crazy thing is, over the years, it's been, it's been so many different things, you know what I mean?
Oh, what kind of things are we talking about?
Well, that's the fascinating part, because it's seen so many transformations, and each one just adds another layer to its history. Like nowadays, it's this kind of mixed-use building where different people live and work, and there are even some pretty well-known people who actually chose to live there because they're drawn to its unique character.
Wait, so people actually want to live there? Even with all the...
Oh yeah, absolutely. But here's where it gets really interesting, and honestly kind of terrifying. The residents and staff, they've been sharing these stories for years, and they're not just your typical ghost stories,
What kind of stories are we talking about?
So, there are these really dark incidents that have happened there. We're talking about actual tragic events, real people who met really unfortunate ends within those walls. And the thing is, some people try to brush it off as just stories, right? But the people who've actually spent time in that building, the ones who've walked those corridors, they know there's something more going on.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
And you should. Because these aren't just random ghost stories. The experiences people have had there are just so visceral and real. Even the skeptics who go in there thinking it's all nonsense, they often come out with a completely different perspective. One of the most chilling incidents, and this is actually documented, happened to this security guard who was working there. He was just doing his normal patrol, on this really hot day in July and...
During the day? I thought most creepy stuff happens at night.
That's exactly what makes this so terrifying. So he's just doing his rounds, right, in broad daylight, when suddenly he hears this gunshot just echoing through the whole building.
Oh my god.
And you know how in movies people sometimes freeze? Well, this guard, he actually ran towards the sound, which is just, incredibly brave when you think about it.
I don't think I could have done that.
So when he gets there, he finds this resident who had taken their own life. It was absolutely devastating, and thank God the police station was really close by, so they got there super quick, but...
That must have been so traumatic for him.
It really was. The guard was so shaken up by what he saw that he actually had to take time off work, and you can imagine, right, seeing something like that. It just stays with you.
Did he ever come back to work?
Yeah, he did actually, but that's when things got even weirder. Because coming back to work was just the beginning of his experiences at Cedar Hill. And trust me, what happened next is even more disturbing.
I'm almost afraid to ask.
And you should be, because when he came back, they put him on the night shift, and that's when he started experiencing things that just couldn't be explained, you know what I mean?
Wait, so what exactly was he dealing with when he came back? Where in the building was he working?
So here's where it gets really interesting and kind of creepy. The building actually had this daycare center on the first floor, right? And
a daycare in that building? That's kind of weird.
I know, right? And get this. Underneath the daycare, there was this, old bomb shelter that looked like this super creepy tunnel. And there were these stories, about something really tragic that happened there.
Oh no. What happened?
Well, according to the rumors, and this is something that a lot of people who worked there talked about, there was this incident where a child actually died in that shelter.
Oh my god, that's horrible!
Yeah, and the thing is, no one really knows exactly what happened, but people who work there, they say they can sometimes hear, children's voices coming from down there.
Stop, you're freaking me out.
And that's not even the worst part, because, you see, this guard, when he came back to work, he had to do these rounds past the daycare center, and let me tell you about this one night that just completely changed everything.
I don't know if I want to hear this.
Trust me, you do. So picture this. It's the middle of the night, right? And he's walking past this daycare center. And something happens that just, well, let's just say it made him question everything he believed about reality.
You're really building this up.
Because what happened next is probably one of the most terrifying things I've ever heard about at Cedar Hill. And I've heard a lot of stories, you know what I mean? So it's like between 2 and 3 in the morning, right? And the guard is doing his normal rounds. And he's approaching the daycare center when suddenly he starts hearing this really weird sound coming from inside.
What kind of sound?
It was like someone was frantically going through a bag or something, you know? Just this rustling noise that shouldn't have been there at all because the place was supposed to be completely empty and locked up tight.
Oh God, what did he do?
Well, and this is what makes it so intense. He actually decided to check it out. He's got his flashlight, right? And he's standing there at the door, and he can still hear this rustling sound getting more and more frantic.
No way, I would have run.
But here's the thing. The exact moment he puts his key in the lock and opens that door, everything just goes completely silent, like dead silent.
I don't like this.
And when he shines his flashlight inside, the room is it's totally empty, right? But there's this feeling, this really heavy feeling like someone or something is watching him.
Stop.
No, but listen, because this is the part that really gets me. He said that even though he couldn't see anyone there, the air felt different, heavy. And you know what he did? He just locked that door as fast as he could and basically ran away from there.
I mean, who wouldn't?
But the thing is, he said that as he was walking away, he could physically feel these eyes on his back. And you know what's even creepier? When he checked the security cameras the next day.
Oh no.
There was nothing on them. Absolutely nothing. Just an empty room. But he swears to this day that what he heard was real. And that feeling of being watched? He said he's never felt anything like it before or since.
So, what happened after that? Did anyone else experience weird things in the building?
Oh my God, so many people. And what makes it even creepier is the building itself, you know? It's got these really strange architectural features that just make everything feel more intense.
What do you mean?
Well, there are these doors and windows that they just lead to nowhere, right? They're still embedded in the walls from when the building was changed over the years, and they're just there, serving no purpose, you know what I mean?
That's so unsettling.
Right? And the thing is, people who work there or visit regularly, they keep reporting all these really strange things happening. They'll be walking down an empty corridor and they'll hear footsteps behind them, but when they turn around, nothing.
Oh God.
And there are these shadows, right? People keep seeing these dark shapes just darting around corners or disappearing through walls. Now, and the really freaky thing is that multiple people have reported seeing the exact same things in the exact same spots.
That must be terrifying for the people who work there.
Absolutely. And you know what's really interesting? It's like the building itself seems to have this energy about it. People say that even during the day, when it's all bright and busy, there's still this feeling of being watched.
I can't imagine working or let alone living there.
And get this, right? The staff have actually started keeping a log of all the weird stuff that happens. They've documented everything from unexplained cold spots to lights turning on and off by themselves and even doors slamming shut when there's no wind or anything that could explain it.
The walls themselves must have so many stories.
That's exactly it. It's like the building itself is alive with all these memories and energy from everything that's happened there. And people who spend any amount of time there, they just know, you know? They can feel that there's something more going on than what we can see.
I honestly don't think I could ever step foot in that building, Val. Just hearing about it gives me the chills.
Oh my God, right? And you know what's really wild? People still choose to live there. They know all these stories and they just stay.
That's absolutely insane to me. Especially after everything we've heard about the security guards' experiences.
And the thing is, Lisa, some residents actually say they've gotten used to it. They just accept that they're sharing their space with whatever energy or spirits are in there.
Yeah, that's gonna be a hard pass for me.
But you've got to admit, it's fascinating though. Like how this building has become such a focal point for all these paranormal activities and tragic stories.
It really is. Speaking of stories, we definitely need to thank our listeners for joining us for another episode of Scary Stories Podcast.
Oh my God, yes. And and if any of you have actually been to this building or have similar experiences to share, we'd love to hear about them,
Just maybe don't tell us right before bedtime.
right? Like I'm definitely sleeping with my lights on tonight.
Hee hee, same here. Well, that's all we have for today, everyone.
Yeah, and we'll be back next week with another super creepy story that'll probably keep us all awake at night.
Can't wait. Though I might need to recover from this one first. See you all next time.
Bye everyone, and remember to check under your beds tonight.